We've got just a few slides to go through. So wanted to start off with a little bit about what we do. And so you can see some statistics or metrics here from the 4 major areas of services that we provide in the Auditor-Controller's office. So accounting and financial reporting. One metric in that service is adjusting journal entries that we prepare and or review from other departments. So there's 3,500 of those. And this is all on this slide, 2014-2015 fiscal year. In accounts payable, we processed a little over 37,000 claims. Payroll, we have on average about 930 or so employees, and that times the 26 pay periods is about 25,000 checks. Most of those are now direct deposit. And revenue recognition, we had about 6,000 deposits made in our office. So just some metrics to give you a sense of the volume. And we have 11 staff people in the office. So as far as probably the most significant office-wide project, that would be the implementation of SunGard's One Solution product, which is a new financial system in it, and it is amazing. Can't say it's amazing compared to other products in today's market, but I can say it's amazing compared to where we were at. Amazing. We are plowing into the 21st century, and it's going to result in a really significant change to the county, and the change is good. Improvement in total. So in particular, I just wanted to start off by saying to some of the other departments out there how proud and thankful I am at the collaboration. And so in particular, the CIO's office, Steve and Sean, and I don't see Tammy here, and then IT and HR, and I see Patty out there, and Ken Srod IT. The collaboration and this project has been awesome, and I want to say almost seamless. When somebody says we need something, we jump, and vice versa. It's been really a wonderful experience, and it's ongoing. As I've mentioned here or written here, most of the modules for One Solution are going to be coming live in February, including payroll, and the main financial, the general ledger and all that. That'll be February. It's very exciting. There's going to be significant efficiencies gained and improvements in reporting and things. Some of which I can't even say because I don't even know them yet. There's so much. It's amazing. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm really underscoring how great it is. Okay, one other nice example is the custom auditor web form. So I didn't really know what a web form was before this process. So just real quick, it's a customized digital worksheet that a department will be able to interact with my department over the intranet. And so they're going to type in, for example, a claim that they would like to pay, or they're going to type in an adjusting journal entry or something along those lines that they need my office to process. And this is going to now be sent in the 21st century via digital intranet. So anyway, the efficiency is going to be amazing, and this auditor web form is going to, for example, no longer require double entry of claims. Currently, the department enters the claim, and then my department re-enters the exact same information. It's going away. Just one entry at the external or the outer department. We'll receive it digitally, review it, process it, and moving on. Life is good. Paperless workflow. Similar kind of vein, but so much of the activities that we currently do in paper are going to be paperless. And this web form is part and parcel to that. Employee online. So employees are now going to, in 2016 and beyond, they're going to be able to access, for example, their pay stub online and review it. And so we will no longer have to provide paper because they can review it digitally or on screen. They're also able to, with HR, make changes to their addresses, things like that. Again, online, digitally. That's going to help HR as well, I think, ultimately with efficiencies. Integrated capital asset module. Just wanted to mention that because we're now going to have the capital assets all integrated in the financial system as opposed to in a separate database and access that we kind of manually bring over. It's all going to be in the same one system. It's awesome. Collaborative efforts. Support financial needs of all county departments. I know that that's maybe obvious to some, but my office, everyone in it, we recognize that we are your supporting staff. We support your endeavors. The board and or the department heads in the various offices. You know, that's our goal. That's our focus, and we love it. We love supporting you. Also, you know, we're having frequent meetings and deliberations, and I love the brainstorming and the vetting of the issues and the wide team approach. The assessor's been really wonderful, and we're bringing in a lot of different perspectives to get to the answer, and I think it's a really significant positive for the county in this new day. And then training. So I also mentioned here county financial staff. So, for example, when I'm interacting with Danelle's department and Riddell over there, you know, she and I can speak the same language and work through issues, and just that kind of collaborative approach. And yeah, she's new to the county, but she has county experience, and so she's able to teach me some things I wasn't aware of, and vice versa. And anyway, that collaboration is paying off. New policies and procedures. Currently working with the CEO's office on some new policies. We're going to bring them real soon, and they are going to enhance our ability to do business more efficiently and provide the guidance and the formality of specific procedures so that questions don't arise or they're fewer, because everyone kind of knows the deal. We're also exploring a debt advisory committee, which is very exciting, and quite a few other counties have that, and so we're kind of evaluating that and hope to have that conversation with you all real soon. Improved efficiencies and rate calculations. Just the interaction between the CEO's office and ours in making this process even more efficient. And then finally, timesheets. We're working on, it's a difficult thing because so many departments have their own custom needs, but we're trying to come up with uniform timesheets so that we have uniform accounting and uniform reporting. And it makes payroll processing a lot easier. But also caution that doesn't work for every department necessarily. Some people have special needs that we can't all put into one thing. Some of the accomplishments that we felt here in this past calendar year, I wanted to just take a quick moment to explain this one because it's very significant. So, successful cost plan and supercircular A133 result. Well, what happened here is OMB, Office Management and Budget, they came out with a new requirement that that fixed assets convert from use allowance. You can no longer be on that method to depreciation. And some of the stuff in there is actually not really that different, but there is some differences. And anyway, we went ahead and we were trying to be a bit on the cutting edge. We implemented a year early with half of our fixed assets, that is our equipment, and then we were going to implement the buildings in the next year, this year. So last year we implemented the fixed asset equipment. And therein was a $2 million adjustment, and it's called a true-up, saying here's the old method, here's the new method. And so we had to walk from the old to the new, and that's called and it requires this true-up. So we were seeking an extra $2 million basically in reimbursements from the Fed and state governments because we had to now use depreciation, which had shorter useful lives than use allowance. Well, what happened is the SCO, we were one of the first, Sutter County. We sent it to them. They reviewed it. They approved it. They literally took this legal size document, landscape, and they gave a copy of it to all of the people at the first annual cost plan training down in Sacramento at the State Controller's office. I attended it. And it was really neat because my staff person created that document. Well, they didn't check with their federal counterparts in San Francisco. So then it goes up the beanpole to the feds, and they say, nope, we're not going to pay an extra $2 million to Sutter County this year. And I could only think maybe there's bigger counties than us, such as LA, that might have a similar issue, and it's a $2 billion problem. I don't know. I'm not the feds, but I wasn't sure. So the SCO said, yep, and then the feds said no. And they said, get rid of the true-up, and you can resubmit. And I said, well, I can't get rid of the true-up. That's $2.2 million that the county would be foregoing in otherwise qualified reimbursable monies just because we weren't allowed to do this true-up, this catch-up. So deliberated, thought about what to do, resubmitted a new cost plan to the state, doing this hybrid approach. They accepted it, adopted it. Actually, it's at the highest level, but the first person is accepted at this point. It's literally at the highest person today or tonight. This is all about a week old. And anyway, but I have confidence that it is going to be accepted. So we were able to kind of like cut the middle and get a good result. Now it's going to require us, we're going to be coming back with a budget amendment because we do have to alter from the original cost plan to this now amended. But the good news is we're not losing any of the money. It's just going to be in the future. It's not all today, but not lost. Could not lose it. I couldn't go with that result. Successful implementation of IFAS payroll, just real quick. I started here October 2014, and you, the board, allowed me to come on 3 months early with the primary goal of successfully implementing payroll. That was successfully implemented, and again, for about 930 employees and the special district employees. And successfully accounted for capital lease purchases, and you can see the benefits there. Increased compliance and transparency. For example, in the Kyocera copier contract, we have 54 copiers throughout the county. We had to account for that in a capital lease context, not an operating lease. And so, so we successfully converted. A couple more accomplishments. Just to mention inclusion of the assessor, and it actually begins there, but we had successful property tax administration last year, and of course we're continuing it. Todd and I are working on a couple of little enhancements to make it even better for the client, for the customers out there, as far as providing a little bit faster service. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the treasurer, who's not here this evening. Successful collaboration in supporting Sutter County special districts. So we love our special districts. They come in all the time. For example, the gentleman at Levy 1 comes in weekly, and he interacts with my staff, and he has lots of wonderful questions. We help, we enhance, and things are going really well. Drew's a real wonderful example of that. And then enhance and improve payroll access and reporting. So we've gone out to some of the special districts with IT, and they're now able to access certain financial reports from their computer. That is, we don't have to print them in the county, mail them out to them, and have that timing difference in those costs. So we're taking care of our special districts. Credit cards. We formed a small committee to kind of evaluate potential providers. What we're trying to do, there's a need for credit cards at the department head level. At least that's kind of where we're at right now. And so our primary place we're looking right now is CalCard. We're looking to just piggyback off CalCard and then have a department head credit card for all the department heads, so that staff no longer has to put any of their travel and training costs when they go to these conferences on their own credit balance sheet. We want it to be on the county's balance sheet, if you will. So we're working on that, and that's going to be coming real soon. And obviously, I'm working hand in glove with the CAO's office on that. We're going to create a nice uniform policy of usage. It's new to the county, credit cards in this way, so we'll just see how that goes, and we're going to really monitor it tightly. And then I'm going to switch over to payable and e-payments. As you all remember, just a month ago or so, we are now going to be implementing another option for our vendors to receive their remuneration, their payments via an electronic form of payment, and we're hoping that that's going to be picked up and then produce some new revenue to the county. Looking forward, so just some of the things that I've either been thinking about or actively working on. Citizens Financial Report. I would really love for the board as well as the auditor to, we've prepared the report for 13-14, but I would love for an inclusive report, and it's just kind of like taking the audited financials, 200 pages of lots of bad jargon and complexity, and synthesizing it down to about 8 pages of very tangible, understandable language, just describing, hey, here's where we're at, here's where we're going. And so what I was thinking is there would be a message from the board in there to the people along those lines, but that we do it together. Okay, CalPERS new funding risk mitigation policy. I just wanted to read a quick 4 sentences from a SACB article. This was on October 12th, 2015. CalPERS announced this new funding risk mitigation policy, and then this is, I think, synthesized well. So under this policy, CalPERS would reduce its discount rate, currently at 7.5%, when its most recent annual investment returns exceed the discount rate by a certain percentage. So for example, the rate would drop a little bit, I'll just say a little bit, if CalPERS racks up a really nice investment return for that year. So a year ago, CalPERS hit 18 or so % investment return. In the future, what they're thinking about doing is when they hit that big investment return, they want to reduce their discount rate, which actually has the effect of an increased cost to the county, but when you mitigate that cost with a nice investment return, it makes it kind of mellow increase for that year, or no increase, because we would have had what's called a PERS holiday maybe. Well, we want to do away with the holiday, still pay, but decrease that discount rate. So that's what they're considering, and by the way, the earnings at PERS this year was 2.4%, so it wasn't a very good year. And I think that is also leading to this discussion down at PERS. Obviously, as I've discussed before, I would love to implement an internal audit function. Also coming up this year, GASB 68, implementation and reporting. So GASB 68 is our unfunded liability, our pension liability. We now have to get that on our books. And so we have not yet got the CalPERS report. I don't know why, but they're really delayed this year. Anyway, once we get it, we're going to incorporate it into our financials and for the audit that's going to be beginning in January. And then finally, training and communication. One of the department heads in the largest department in the county has asked for some fiscal training. And so really trying to kind of figure out what might be the biggest impact to those folks in that department first, and then doing it. And yeah, I'm excited to do it. The collaboration is just awesome. So anyway, that's all I've got. Any questions? Thank you so much for allowing me to speak this evening.
Through the chair.
Sir.
First of all, I want to commend you, Mr. Black, on your presentation. Very informative, and a lot of great information that was put out to the public. I'd also like to tell you that, at any time I tell department heads and I tell elected officials this, feel free to use our public information officer to get information out to the public on anything that you want to address, as well as you're in collaboration with our assessor and the treasurer, tax collector. And so just want to make sure that you have that access.
Thank you.
A couple questions for you. Obviously, you replaced a long-term auditor-controller, Mr. Stark.
Yes.
And so can you kind of tell me, since you've been in office for about a little bit over a year, I believe?
Yeah.
What has been your biggest challenges?
Well, I've had considering, I don't want to keep talking about it, but just considering the fact that there was some acrimony or some discord in the past, I've been hyper-focused on establishing relationships and rekindling the relevancy of our office and showing people that we can help and enhance what they're doing, not in any way harm, that we're here to serve. So just kind of working through that. Of course, it's my first year, so also I'd say one of my biggest challenges is getting up to speed and learning and listening instead of talking often and things like that. There were some technical issues that were difficult this year, but I feel that, again, with the team effort, we were able to get there. So without the team, we would be failing. But the fact that everyone's willing to get to the table together, we're never gonna fail, I feel.
Sure. Obviously, your first year experience with our going through budget hearings, and you are going to be certifying that budget as well from your office. So what can you say about the financial stability of our county after reviewing that budget?
Well, actually, we're not in that bad a shape, okay? I think we have some okay or healthy reserves, and I feel that the greater economy, although I wouldn't be overly optimistic about it, I feel that it is gaining a little traction. I think property values, you know, they're just about maxed in terms of back up to their Prop 13 level. So I think pretty healthy. The biggest concern, and it's every county in this state, maybe except for one or two, but is the pension, and just the changes at PERS are forcing. I mean, you know, we have frequent conversations about it. We're hoping. See, for a long time they've been way kind of playing fast and loose in how much they've required people to pay. Now they're going really kind of tight, and they're really hammering counties, and this discount rate change has the potential of being really significant to our budgeting for our employees. So we're hoping that they find a nice middle ground that is both appropriate but also doable.
Sure.
Doable.
Obviously, when the district attorney came and presented, I asked her this question. If you had a wish list, and obviously, I believe one of your positions on your wish list would be your internal auditor. Anything else that we could do to help your department? Is that internal auditor position still a top priority for you?
Well, I don't think it'll ever go away from a top priority, because I do see quite a number of areas in the county where we could benefit from that position and that role. But I probably actually even more important than that is that you five continue to espouse collaboration, and I think that the sky's the limit for what we can do. As long as we're all pulling the same way and acting as a team, we're going to win. So that would be probably my number one, and then the other one's number two.
Right on. Well, thank you once again for your presentation. I really appreciate it.
Through the chair.
Sir.
I just want to tell you I'm impressed. So that, folks, is an auditor-controller. He's done a great job, I think, over the last year, just watching to see him progress from where we started. And I think the voters made a wise choice this time. I do want to say that. I just, he's mentioned a few words that are really critical to us in this county and our success. And I think collaboration is really key. The execution of software that's been sitting on our shelf, in the past that actually has been accomplished, working with the teamwork, making those things happen. I know I came to some meetings a couple of years ago, and it was way different environment from, whatever the mix was or whatever that was in the past. It's nice to see that you're getting beyond that and moving forward and moving the county forward, especially in your department as the auditor. You mentioned to Supervisor Whitaker, what the challenges that you've faced in the past, and you've mentioned some really good goals that you're moving forward. So I just wanted to ask you, besides the PERS issue, do you see any major challenges that you see that you can foresee going forward?
Well, to the board's credit, fortunately, our health care for retirees is not nearly the problem that it is, for example, for Sonoma County or Contra Costa County. Those people have, I think Sonoma was a $300 million liability. Ours is 12. Okay, and the population difference does not support that. It's because we conservatively appropriated to retirees' health care. So kudos to you. Well, I'm encouraged that we can one day have more of a central location for our offices. We're all over the place. I think that that's a challenge in and of itself, the amount of travel and time lost. I'd say that's
Those
about.
are the main ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for
Appreciate
what you said.
Through the chair.
Barbara.
I just want to echo my colleagues' comments. You've done a great job in a short period of time, and we appreciate that. I just had a couple questions. You mentioned the credit cards and monitoring. You don't
Yes.
really need to elaborate it.
Sure.
But I think one of my concerns would be how you're going to monitor it to make sure that there's no abuse, and I'm sure you'll do that.
Yeah.
And you'll have some sort of plan in place when you bring it forward.
Right.
And,
100, yes, absolutely.
I don't know how you do that, not that we don't have trustworthy department heads, but, I mean, it could always get stolen as well. So that would be one of my concerns, and the other was the debt advisory committee. You were going to come back to the board on that. When
Yes.
do you plan to do that, and what's your goal?
Maybe February or, yeah.
Okay, well, I won't ask you to give us a lot of details
Oh, sure.
this evening, but that would be another
Oh,
area
yeah.
that I'd be interested in, and how you plan to do that, and who would be on the committee and that type of thing.
Well, I can help with that last part if you,
Sure.
at least at this point, what we've got is CAO, auditor, and treasurer.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
But it's in process, and of course, love to hear your input on it. And we're using a couple of different counties, what they have in place, trying to kind of cherry pick a little bit.
Well, I think your enthusiasm is contagious.
Oh, thank you.
And appreciate that.
The county's in good shape right now. I'm feeling really good about things, so
Great, thank you.
my pleasure.
Nate,
Yes, sir.
I would be redundant to go over everything good that's been said about you, but I've only been here this is my third year. But coming from the private sector and being a merchant in this community for over 30 years, one of the things that I learned that I began complaining about to our former CAO in the beginning and announcing, as a businessman, two of the most important relationships for success that you can have, one with your accountant and two with your lawyer.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years, I've seen a phenomenal change of attitude and overall demeanor from our new county council and our new auditor controller. And I'd say that bridge is finally heading, it's coming together. There's not any of the dart throwing that went on in the past. And I think that you've managed to create an attitude of fellowship, so to speak, or cooperation, as you call it. And I commend you for that. And I think that Sutter County is better because of both the additions of our new county council and our new auditor controller. And I think it's both of you guys have done a wonderful job,
Well, it's my pleasure,
certainly.
truly.
Through the chair.
Sir.
Nate, thank you. The report was good. A lot of good questions was answered right here. I think we're in good hands, and I think we're going down the right path now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Larry.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Black.
Thank you.